Hi, I'm Keith Adams, and I'm a Magic the Gathering collector. You might remember me from a previous Inside the Deck video in which I share with you a lot of misprints and test prints, and we are back again for round 2. It has been 2 years, and so we are going to show you things that I've picked up recently and things that we did not show you in the previous video. So please, enjoy. When we use the word misprint, it is definitely a general term. It can encompass anything that would be anything that has something wrong with it, or it could be a miscut, or a test print, or something that is just generally unusual and you have no idea exactly what is going on with the card. Sometimes it's very obvious, like it'll have a huge ink run or it'll be showing 2 cards, but you do have to remember that there was a point where Wizards of the Coast did not even really think that any of this stuff would be worth anything. So employees would take this stuff home. They wouldn't even consider it being worth much. And now here we are 21 years later, and this stuff is very valuable. But part of the reason, of course, why this stuff is valuable is the fact that a lot of it got thrown away. Now, things have evolved over the years, and now that Wizards of the Coast has been bought by Hasbro, they have a much tighter rein on what they let go. But some of the most interesting things I see are from the very beginnings of Wizards of the Coast history. And I want to share with you some of the more interesting things that I have in my collection. This is some of the better examples of cards that have shifted blurry text. The Lotus Petal would be the most noticeable, especially when you have it signed. It helps it get in more perspective. These are cards that have weird shifted issues with them. This is a Legends card in which all cards are like this, but the circle is above the 1. Here's a Gaia's Touch and everything is shifted. And these 6 here are great examples of bad foiling process. We have Sick and Tired, and there's this weird line and the casting cost is down and everything is out of line. We have Stroke of Genius with the same issue, and we have this Drake Hatchling with this black and all the text shifted. You can even see the mana symbol is overlapping with the words. And this one is probably my personal favorite because the tap symbol is missing and it is down here by the artist's name. These are some better examples of cards that have ink runs. These 3 Urza Saga cards are my personal favorites, and especially this one. And this is something that is extraordinarily rare for Urza Saga. This is a swamp that has an imprint of the cellophane on the back of the card. This is a great example of a card that is miscut on the front, and it is just fine on the back. This card is very appropriately called Flay, and it was massacred by the machine. What we have is the back of the card was appropriately printed on the card, and then it got caught in the machine. And then the front was printed over this folded card. So what we have is a big gaping white spot in the middle of the card, and you can see that it is like folded over. This is a reclaim from Exodus in which it has an imprint of a hair or possibly 2 hairs printed on the card. This is a Leonin Relic Warder in which it has splotches on the back of the card. This one is especially neat because it is half a magic card. It has 4 square corners, but it is a German Pokemon Tangela. This is a card horribly hand cut from the Mirage Foreign set in which it has Amstel Beer logos on the reverse. Here we have these Exodus foils, and this is one of the earlier concepts for what you could call a foil, in which this has a glossy finish to it, and then we have the set being embossed, and then we have the Wizards of the Coast star on the card. And here is something a little bit more similar to the foils that we have from the early days of foiling, and this is a Visions card, the only Visions card to receive this foil treatment. This version is silver bordered, which actually is a white bordered card that is foiled. And this is a card that was tested for Unglued 2. Unglued 2, of course, did not happen, but that's what this was meant for. And then here we have two cards that were that are textless foils. This is a Sarah Avatar, and this one has round corners, and this one has square corners. These are four very good unlimited rares, but they are especially unique because of how they look on the back. These cards all have Antiquities cards and Unlimited cards on the other side. In each case, we are talking about an unlimited rare on one side, and then an Antiquities common and an Unlimited common on the other side. This is a better example of some of the more unusual miscuts that I have. These cards here share with you a lot of information because they are on the edge of the sheet. And this is a Plains that has a color bar on the reverse. Here is a four-way miscut. This is a card that has square corners and is miscut only on one side. And this is an alpha, and this is an unlimited miscut, also miscut only on one side. We have a Flash Fires and a Soul Ring. This is a Goblin Brigand from Scourge, in which it has four square corners and it is in the English language. And then on the reverse of the card is a Magic Back and Goblin Brigand again, but it's in French. Here's a page filled with some of my better crimped cards. These three up top here are crimped so badly that parts of the cards are actually missing. And these two here are crimped down the middle from the back of the packaging. And this is a mountain that is miscut and crimped. And this lightning bolt has a crimp running down the back. It's from the packaging. This is an Antiquities Ornithopter, and it is an albino. This card has no color other than a simple black and white print, and it affects only one side of the card. This is a German test print from Homelands, in which we have a front on one side and a front on the opposite side upside down. This is a complete miscut sliver deck from Tempest, in which it features blue and black cards, and many of them are very good. Here we have a lot of Fallen Empire commons, and this is a complete set in which they feature the wrong game on the back. These cards were not found in Magic the Gathering product, but were instead found in Wyvern product. And we can't forget this guy. There's no way I'm getting rid of him. He's the holographic Dragon Whelp. In addition to collecting misprints, I'm also going for one of every regular Magic the Gathering set. But one of the things I really am passionate about are playtest cards, especially the original Alpha playtest cards. I really find them interesting and have been picking up every single one that I've been able to get my hands on. And at this point, it's about 500 different cards. So let me show you some of them now. Here is a select few of the Alpha playtest cards, featuring some of the more humorous cards and some of the more dangerous and powerful cards. First off, these three planes feature pictures of airplanes, and this has the Incredible Hulk, who is featured on a few cards. This is the Far Side, John Travolta, an autographed copy of Richard Garfield's photocopied face, so yes, the original Goblin is Richard Garfield. And this is a heel, which has a heel from a foot, which of course is H-E-E-L. And we have Captain Kirk and Spock. We have several Calvin and Hobbes cards, and these are two of them right here. This is Batman, and then we have the more powerful cards, and this is the original Ancestral Recall. And then we have a counterspell, which if you can read before things were crossed out, this actually cost 1 and 1 blue, and it canceled a spell being cast or a previously cast enchantment. And then we have the Time Walk and the infamous red Time Walk, in which this one says you take an extra turn, and this one says opponent loses next turn. But one thing that is important to note about the original Alpha playtest cards is that the casting cost, which you see here, 4 WW, is not a total of 6 mana. It is actually 4 mana, 2 of which have to be white. That is one of the things that is important to note, that they did that before Alpha came out. One of the things I also enjoy about Alpha playtest cards is finding out where the source material came from as far as the clip art. And these are 3 great examples in which I found in the original monster manual for Dungeons & Dragons. This is an Animate Dead Alpha playtest card, and it features artwork from Zombie. This Alpha playtest card, very fittingly, takes the artwork from Unicorn. And this Giant Spider Alpha Playtest card takes its artwork from Spider. Well, as far as my misprints and oddities go, that just about covers it. I'm sure there's more, so we'll do this again in a couple years, alright? But in the meantime, you can check me out at my own YouTube channel, and I'm also a part of the Facebook Misprints and Oddities group, and we will provide a link down below for you to check out one or the other, and you can get a hold of me that way. Other than that, I will talk to you all soon, so take care, okay? I don't want you to get the impression that I spend all my money on magic cards.